So, welcome to this week's Empower Partner Foundation Studios Voices on Social Challenges. This week we have Mphoentle Plaatjie. She's what I describe as an intelligent young woman. By the age of 16, she had completed her matric. By the age of 19, she had already bagged her first law degree, and she was a Golden Key member at the same time. By the age of 22, she had 3 qualifications to her name, including a Master's of Law from the University of Cape Town. And now she's 25 years of age. She's a praying woman. She's working as a governance graduate and youth council member to the Chief of External Affairs at Vodacom. Welcome, Mphoentle.
Thank you for having me.
So I'll just jump to it, right? What is your advice to young people who want to give up on education? Mainly because it's becoming popular, to give up on education, but also because they can't find jobs.
1, don't. That's my advice. Don't. I do understand with the unemployment rate, it becomes so discouraging. You become hopeless that, you know what, I'm going through this struggle, and university is not easy. Or just getting through school, it's not easy. It's really difficult. You think that you're doing this for nothing because at the end of the day, you're met with high unemployment rates. But what a lot of people miss is that, yes, sure, your journey might not necessarily be in a corporate space or a traditional profession, right? And even if it's a new profession or one that's digital and so on, there are new courses addressing that. But the thing about being in an area or an environment of educated people, 1, it opens your mind, whether it's within that specific course you're doing or in terms of your worldview. 2, you have a network. And 3, you get something that really challenges how you think. And the truth is, when you move forward, whether it's as an entrepreneur or somebody in corporate, and whether you're going to use that qualification or not, it gives people sort of like a comfort that actually this person is a critical thinker. So if I'm going to invest my money in your company, I want to know that, yes, sure, I want to know you can do that product, but I also want to know that whatever challenges you're going to have moving forward, you've got the critical skills to solve those problems. So it's a degree or a qualification or higher learning qualification sort of gives you that nod on the back that, hey, this person's got it. So yeah, I do think education still opens a whole lot of doors. I just do think that it's not just the traditional ways of education. So literally even going on YouTube. Because you know what I was saying the other day is that by the time you finish your qualification, if it's a 4-year degree, 3-year degrees, sometimes some of the things that you've learned in your first year are no longer relevant by the time you start practicing.
True.
But yeah, I just think people need to look at education from a holistic perspective and not necessarily the paper that you get at the end of the day. But I do still think that having that qualification at the end of the day gives you a better chance at cracking that unemployment rate. Yeah.
Interesting view. A mouthful as well. So can you tell us about your journey with beauty pageants?
So okay, I know people like saying, oh my gosh, every girl wants to become Miss South Africa. Yes and no. You're sitting, 2003, I'm probably like 5 or 6 or whatever, I don't know.
Wow.
I'm watching Claudia Henkel get crowned. Your family will say you also want to become Miss SA, or you can become Miss SA, but every family will say that. And then moving forward, I was more of a tomboy, I'd like to think, and my head was in the books, so I didn't really have time to look at beauty pageants. When I went into varsity, some of our cultural activities is to do pageants for your residents, and as first years, we were forced to audition.
Right.
To my surprise, I make it, and what made me fall in love with pageants is the fact that after I won, I was more of a brand ambassador than just a pretty face. I had to put in the work to put my residents as the residents to come to do community work on behalf of our residents. So that's what I fell in love with. That's the journey I fell in love with. And I know you said mouthful earlier on.
Yes,
I was always the girl who's really smart and has all the ideas in her head, but didn't know how to articulate them. But because the pageant system forces you to communicate, I then came out of my shell. So yeah, and because I'm also somebody who's really passionate and wants to push myself to like the next level, that's why I then went all the way to Miss SA. Yeah.
And you were a top 30 finalist, right?
Yes, I was top 30. I was part of the top 30 this year. And my message was also about hope. You know, we do understand the unemployment rate is high. A whole lot of issues, GBV, like everything is going wrong.
True.
But if you have hope, that I feel like hope takes you through those difficult challenges. Hope pulls you through a difficult situation, whether it's you being in hospital, the hope that tomorrow will be better. Whether it's you being a GBV situation, the hope that tomorrow you'll get assistance or somebody will see you, or, you know, it's what gets you to the next day. Because without that, then you just give up.
True. But don't downplay the beauty aspect of it, right?
Yeah.
You can't hope to be beautiful.
I mean, wow.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell me, how do you then integrate the two, your education and beauty pageants, and just highlight how technology assists in this process? So
the traditional beauty pageant that we grew up with was beautiful. Yes, you still have to be beautiful. I'm not going to dismiss that.
Okay.
But what the education does is the fact that these women are now brand ambassadors. When you win Miss South Africa, if you go out to a different country, you're like the first point of contact of who a South African woman is. And today's day and age, a South African woman is a woman who's educated. It's a woman who wants to give back to her community. It's a woman who wants to leave a society that is much better than the one she entered into. So, in terms of technology, honestly, I'll make it simple. What's in front of our eyes? Social media. Yeah. Social media gets to each and every single person. And as I say, these women are brand ambassadors. So they use that to amplify their message. That's the one that stands out for me. Yeah.
Okay. And as a foundation, you know, entrepreneurship is one of our 3 pillars, one of them being youth and technology. So I saw on your profile you have interest to venture into business. So why? And also, have you started yet?
So yes, I do have interests. What I decided to do first is, you know, go into corporate, learn. I believe for you to be a great leader, you actually have to be led first. So once I'm ready and have the capital and have the network, I'll definitely have my own startup. Why? I think it is the key for especially young black people to tap into generational wealth. I think that's the biggest reason. And also growing up, I had my mom who's very entrepreneurial. I've seen how she's been able to break so many barriers and be able to provide. And so why not? If she could do it, why not me?
Oh. Also, you grew up in generational wealth.
Wow! No, but I'm hoping to do that for the next generation.
Okay.
But because of the choices they made and the courage they had, I genuinely had a more privileged life than the normal South African kid. You know, I was privileged enough to go to a private school, and that's not the reality of everyone.
No, yes.
Exactly.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so my last question, which social challenge is dear to your heart, and how do you suggest society goes about in solving for this challenge? Okay,
so for me, I believe my purpose lies with young people, right? Whatever learnings I have to better somebody else's situation, I want to provide. So whatever stumbling block I had, I've learned from it. I want to make sure the next person doesn't go through it. But working for a tech company, I honestly believe tapping into a digital society is our best way forward. We talked about education earlier on, right? The truth is not everyone will afford to go to university or get a higher learning qualification.
True.
But what a digital society will do is sort of democratize education for everyone. If I can get it online, if I can use YouTube, if I can read whatever is online to equip myself with these skills, that I think is going to be the balancer, or that is what's going to be a catalyst towards a better society, especially for our generation.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for gracing our studios.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
For Mphoentle Plaatjie.
Thank you for the invitation.
No problem.